All right. I got a bone to pick with you.
As always, hit me.
Well, okay, so before the playoffs began, you were giving me all this grief about how I should watch more playoff games and that I must be just a Giants fan and not a baseball fan. And yeah, okay, you got me where it hurt, okay? So
Right.
I decided that I was going to watch baseball games during the playoffs that did involve the Giants. And so the first time I watched the Phillies and the Dodgers end up winning, and
Which I did not tell you to do. Like, there were many series that you could have chosen from. I didn't tell you to watch the Dodgers.
Okay, well then the second game I decided to watch is game 5 of the Mariners and the Tigers. Like, that seems like a good game. I should watch that one.
That was a good game.
No, it wasn't. It was a terrible game. It was like 5 hours long. 37 strikeouts. Like, it just went on and on and on. And sure, yeah, it ended up great and there was some tension involved and all that, but it was 5 hours, Ben. 5 hours. That's like 2.5 2023 games.
5.5 hours of edge-of-your-seat entertainment, Matthew. 37 strikers. So you telling me you don't enjoy a well-pitched baseball game? This was a Game 5 winner-take-all in Seattle. These people haven't been to the League Championship Series since 2001. Tariq Screwball going for the other side. This was a classic. And you're complaining that it was too classic?
Yes, because then they show fans in the stands and they're all like their hands in their mouths. They're like on the verge of tears. Like, I'm feeling for these people that I don't even know, that I didn't even care about the day before.
They were literally crying.
Yes. Like, there are people on there and I'm like, I felt terrible for them because I was like, oh my gosh, they just look at them. They're just in anguishing there. And so I don't know. It was too much, Ben. It was too much. I'm going to go back to just watching the Giants in the playoffs.
Are you saying that you would rather have watched that game if Manfred runners were in it? Is that what this is?
Well, no, but I will say that it did confuse me when the 10th rolled around and there was nobody on second base. I was like, what? Well, they forgot to put the runner on second base.
Okay. So you are complaining that the playoff game that you watched was one of the all-time great playoff games played in history. I'm thinking maybe we should go back to this original idea that you don't like baseball.
If I'm going to get that invested in a game, Ben, I want to know all the players. I want to know what their wives' names are. I want to know what their kids, how old their kids are. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about these people. And all of a sudden I'm feeling for them. And for 5 hours, like, it was way past my bedtime by the time I went to bed. And then I was all ramped up and I couldn't fall asleep. This is all your fault.
You're welcome.
Welcome to Giant Cocktails, where the baseball is mid, but the cocktails are elite. Here are your hosts, Ben and Matthew Henry.
Oh, wait. No, I mean, welcome to episode 334 of Giant Cocktails. Matthew.
Yep.
The tallest cold drink of water that ever wore a Giants uniform, Jeff Kent, hit 334 in 2000 on his way to winning the MVP award that year. That's BS. No one has ever hit 334. Certainly not Jeffrey Kent.
No, but the fact that he hit 334 gave the writers enough reason to vote him MVP and not Barry Bonds.
Yes, because they didn't want to just give Barry another one.
No, they did not.
They didn't, even though he deserved it. Yes. I mean, don't get me wrong. Jeff had a very good season in 2000. But, yeah. And if that doesn't tell you how much the writers didn't like Barry back then, and still don't, nothing will, because Jeff Kent was not, no.
Well,
speaking
when
of people who...
half of your at-bats are with a guy on base, because because you've been walked. You're going to get some good pitches to hit, I would assume.
Exactly. And also, speaking of guys who don't like baseball, Jeff Kent is one of them. On record is saying that he doesn't like baseball. Like, it's my job. I wouldn't watch it. Yeah, anyway. Maybe we should talk about something else.
Enough with the banter. Let's talk cocktails.
Yeah, maybe we should have you say something else in the off-season, Bob, besides enough with the banter. Like, maybe there's a different segue that we could build in, because sometimes, man, like, we're not bantering. We're not
I don't get paid enough for this.
We would pay the man who does your voice to record some more lines, is what I'm saying. So the person who should get paid would get paid. And yes, you are from a real person. You are not AI, which is shocking considering how ridiculous you are.
What are you drinking, Ben?
I think he said that with a little more disdain than normal.
I know, I heard it. What am I drinking, Bob? Well, Bob, I'm drinking a cocktail that I am calling a Proto-Punch. Why? Well, because it's a work in progress. And what is that work? Well, you're going to have to wait until the end of the episode to find out. And I will tell you all of the ingredients, including the ingredient that makes it proto and not exo. Posto?
What happens when you're actually done with something? Finisho?
Finito. There it is. Yeah, it's not finito yet.
What are you drinking, Matthew?
Bob, I'm drinking something I'm calling the Pink Flamingo. It's got grapefruit juice in it, which is something that I haven't done in a very, very long time, if ever. And I'll tell you all about it at the end of the episode.
I don't like grapefruit, Matthew. I don't like grapefruit at all.
See, I didn't think I did either. And then I thought, maybe I'm missing out. So I started experimenting a little bit. Turns out it's pretty good, especially when you mix it with other stuff.
Okay. Well, if you put enough sugar in something, I'll like anything. So, yeah.
Done and done.
All right. So that's the secret. Just add more sugar. Anyway, today is Sunday, October 12th, as we record this podcast. In an alternate universe, we're getting ready for the Giants to play Game 1 of the NLCS. But we don't live in that universe. And we can't even do something really weird with an object that won't fit in an orifice. But we put it there anyway so that we can jump to that universe. Matthew, you look like a man who's never seen Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I've never seen... I'm still stuck on the orifice and where you put things. I like what would fit in there.
A lot of things, according to that movie.
Okay.
It's yeah, and then there's this other character in it, Raccatoonie. I don't know. Anyway, it's a great movie. I can't believe you haven't seen it. Michelle Yeoh, she won an Oscar. Get some culture, dude. Jeez. And
too busy watching 15 innings of playoff baseball, Ben.
Yeah, well, that's true. You know what? You could have skipped like the first few innings of that and watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, and then watched the end of the game, and that would have been a great evening, actually.
You know what I should have done is watch the condensed game the day after, like everybody else.
Yeah, and then you would have had enough time to watch Everything Everywhere All at Once. Anyway, the point is the Giants aren't in the NLCS. The stupid effing Dodgers are, and they're going to play a bunch of Boy Scouts who literally have the same colors as the Weebelows.
Oh, they do?
They do. Are the Weebelows still a thing?
That's a good question. I haven't really heard about the Weebelows lately.
I don't really, I don't really hear anything about Boy Scouts, really.
Well, it's not Boy Scouts anymore.
It's not?
It's the Scouting of America or something like that.
Yeah, anyway. Okay. Well, we're way off topic now. So what are we going to talk about today, Matthew? Well, we're going to go over some tidbits. But before we get to those tidbits, including the playoffs, I'm going to tell you the other thing we're going to talk about. And the other thing we're going to talk about is the only thing that anybody in Giants land is talking about right now, which is the manager search. So we're going to go over the current state of the manager search. We're going to talk about who's in the running, who we know that's had an interview. And then after that, we're going to continue our ongoing discussion of what does a manager do exactly?
The age-old question.
And Matthew has a really important question for us. Do you want to ask it now as a teaser, or do you want to wait?
I could ask it now.
Yeah, ask it now.
Is the manager's most important job just to fill out the lineup?
Ooh, that is a good question. It's pretty important. I mean, I tell you what, you wouldn't want Andrew Kisner playing second base.
No, and you bat Jung Hoo Lee third for like 2/3 of the season, you're going to get fired. So it's important.
I think it was only like a third of the season. I mean, he did get fired, but yeah. That alone will get you fired. Ooh, good question. I'm excited to have that conversation. But first, we're going to talk about the playoffs. Matthew, I heard that you watched all 5 hours of the greatest playoff game. Well, I don't know if it was the greatest. It was the longest. The longest playoff game in baseball history.
I can say that. I haven't watched too many playoff games of the Giants weren't in, but I watched the longest one.
I got to tell you, I watched the whole game too. I mean, I didn't watch some of the early innings, but I watched all of the key innings. And I got to tell you, like, there were some defensive plays made. It wasn't like nobody threatened. It wasn't like just guys just like popping out and striking out for 4 innings in the extra innings.
Well,
there were tense innings.
Yeah, and being a de facto Mariners fan, there was some Josh Naylor stealing third with 1 out. That guy, I think earlier in the season, we talked about him stealing bases. Like it was this crazy thing that this guy is all of a sudden, he looks like a bowling ball out there and just totally steals bases. The one that he stole, he stopped and then went and still stole third base. And then the big dumper, not only can he hit, he can throw. He had a bullet to second base on a guy trying to steal second and just got him out. Like the ball was right on the thigh as the guy caught it, and just some really, really great baseball.
That was a pretty great throw.
Fun. Yeah, it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch. Scooball had 7 straight strikeouts, which I think is some kind of record.
I mean, it sounds like it should be. I believe it. I believe it's a record. That's what Robbie Ray's going to be like next year. I just hope that the Giants find somebody for Robbie Ray to suck all of the mojo out of. Clearly the Tigers have this figured out. Oh, though, you know what they did? They probably let Scooball suck the mojo out of the whole team all at once in September, and that's why they went on that massive losing streak. That's why they had one of the worst Septembers of any playoff team ever. Because they thought they could do it. They thought they could get him all juiced up for the playoffs. And it almost cost them their season.
Yeah.
But then they couldn't let him suck out anymore, and that's why he could only go 6 innings in that game. Maybe if he goes 7, that kid Rivas doesn't have that miracle hit. The guy that was in the minor leagues for 70 years.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that hit. If Screwball could have had just sucked out a little more mojo. But if he had sucked out a little bit more mojo, then they wouldn't have made the playoffs at all. And this is why being a manager is hard. But we also have to talk about something else sad that happened.
Oh, okay.
The Yankees were knocked out of the playoffs. And I really don't give a darn about that. In fact, most years I would celebrate it. But the problem is that my favorite non-San Francisco Giant, well, my former favorite non-San Francisco Giant is on that team. You know him. His name is Jazz. I named a cocktail after him.
You also had another favorite player that's on that team.
Yeah. The last of the 2025 San Francisco Giants was eliminated from the playoffs when the Yankees succumbed to the Blue Jays.
It wasn't Camilo's fault, though.
It wasn't. I mean, he did give up a run in the deciding game, but they were already down by like 4, and quite honestly, he still was one of the best pitchers for the Yankees that day, and he was definitely the best pitcher overall for the Yankees in the whole series. Oh God, they were so bad. They were so bad. But I tell you what, Camilo looked a lot better, and I think he got a lot more comfortable there. I have bad feelings about this. He's going to be like their closer for the next 10 years.
All I know is that I picked the Mariners and the Brewers to go to the World Series, and you picked the Yankees and the Phillies.
No, that's what I wanted. That's what I want. I wanted the Yankees. I wanted the Yankees, and I don't know that I wanted anybody from the National League that I really cared about. Maybe the Brewers. My picks were the Blue Jays and again, like,
and the Phillies.
And the Phillies. Yes. So, yeah. Because I was never going to pick the Dodgers, Matthew.
No, absolutely not.
And but unfortunately, the Phillies manager sucks.
Really sucks. I think I talked about it in the previous series about how he had guys warming up in the bullpen and still let his starting pitcher continue. Yeah. And then he has, then there's wheel plays being thrown.
Well, the wheel play, right? Where, like, first of all, Nick Castellanos does not know how to react to a wheel play when it's on, because they're not holding you on second, Nick. That's the trick. That means you can start running. Like yesterday, you could have started running. Not let Mookie Betts get 2 steps on you, you moron. You buffoon. You absolute idiot. You look like a loser out there. You look like a man who doesn't know how to play baseball out there, Nick Castellanos. But also, your manager, I don't know if everybody notices, but there was a foul ball on the first pitch of that at bat. The Dodgers ran the wheel play on the foul ball. The Phillies knew they were going to do it and still did not take it off, didn't change the play, didn't tell Nick, dude, you need to run. No, none of that. They just were like, let's do it again, because I'm a manager and that's the only play that I know to do. It was mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. And that's why managers matter, Matthew.
Yes, it is why.
Yeah. Do you
just
know what
ask Craig Counsell.
That's right. That's right. Hey, Craig, you know why the Brewers could never make it to the National League Championship Series? It was you. You were the reason. Yeah. I
also think it's funny that the Brewers have gone this far after Willie Adames left.
Oh, it's Willie's fault then. It's Willie and Craig Counsell's fault. That's why they couldn't make the National League. Well, it's a good thing neither of them play are with the Giants.
That's right. For the next 7 years.
That's not the reason why, Matthew. There's all kinds of reasons, okay?
Yeah. They got young guys who
I don't know.
It's because
it was because Bob Uecker wasn't an angel yet and couldn't manipulate things from heaven.
Oh, that's true. There is divine intervention with good old Bob Uecker.
Yeah. So that's why they couldn't make it. It wasn't Craig Counsell and Willie Adames. They just needed a little more help in heaven.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's it, Matthew. It's time for us to talk about the San Francisco Giants managerial search.
Wait, the Giants are looking for a manager?
Yes, and I declined the interview.
Probably good for us all that you declined. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I thought about it, and I just said, Buster.
In the produce aisle, you told him no?
No, this was because remember the helicopter landed on the field and then.
Oh, that's right.
And they shot off the smoke.
That's right. And you had Jane from accounting.
It's Yane from accounting. Yes, was the only one there. She was clapping as I ran into the dugout. It was really embarrassing. I ran into the visitors' dugout and he was like, Buster had to steer me over. And then I had to I pretended like I was doing victory laps. Whatever. Anyway, then I got in there and I felt really sick and I realized that this was real and I was like, I'm going to barf. And then I did. And then I said, I can't take the job. And then Buster said something about, taking an hour to gas up the helicopter. So I just took Bart.
As one does.
Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, that's okay because there's another number one guy, a number one candidate
Mr. Nick Hundley.
Correct.
There's been a lot of talk about Nick Hundley and how he turned down the opportunity to interview before because he had young children. One who has type 1 diabetes. I'm not really sure why that's relevant, but they keep bringing it up in the articles.
So did Jordan Hicks.
Yes. Sure. Well, I guess that's probably more relevant than Nick Hundley's daughter having type 1 diabetes.
It's a serious disorder, Matthew.
Agreed. Anyway, I'm still not entirely convinced that Nick Hundley is going to be the guy, just because, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of momentum there. I don't know. What do you think?
You don't think there's a lot of momentum there? I don't know what that means, but Buster said he was one of his favorite teammates ever.
Right. Well, I mean,
the bromance between these two is strong.
Baggerly and Pavlovich were breaking up interviews from 2019 and talking about, like, that was when Hundley's last season with the Giants and how he said all these nice things about Buster. And yes, they're good friends. And I really wouldn't mind if Hundley was the manager. I'm just like, it was a lot of like the writers writing all these things, but we didn't really hear it from Buster. So I don't know. Like I'm still very, very up in the air around, or clear as mud, I should say, as far as who's going to be the manager. But we have had reports of other interviews.
We have.
And we had Kurt Suzuki, which we talked about last time, but now...
you didn't like his hat or something.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And then former manager of the Orioles, Hyde. I'm forgetting his first name. What was his first name?
Jekyll.
Yes, Jekyll. Jekyll-Land. Jekyll-Land.
Yeah, well, it's Jekyll, and his middle name is something with an N.
Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah.
Also, like other podcasters and people have been talking about University of Tennessee coach Vitello.
That's right. Drew Gilbert's former manager.
Yeah, and so, which would be interesting, right? I mean, a guy that's never coached in the major leagues, never managed in the major leagues, suddenly jumping to the major leagues would be interesting for sure.
I don't buy that. I don't buy all of that. I know a lot of people care about that. One of the things that, like, the most important factor that people bring up in a managerial search is whether or not he has been a manager before at the major league level. And I'm like, wow, talk about the one factor that eliminates the most people possible. Yeah. And most of these guys, the key thing about all of them, Matthew, most of them are not currently managers. And the Giants got one who was. And they fired him 2 years later.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the correlation is not great, but I feel like he doesn't even have any major league coaching experience. Like, he's never been a major leaguer. He's never coached in the majors. Like, that's a big jump, don't you think?
I think the one thing that players, at least in the past, have cared about is whether or not you played professionally. And I don't know if he played professionally or not. But I don't know. Like, no. Does he know baseball? You know, does he know how to build an organization? Does he know how to manage people? Does he know how to manage coaches? Does he know how to teach strategies? Does he know how to deal with personalities? I think all of those things are probably yes, right? Because running an organization at the college level is all of that, involves all of those things. So, like, and he has been paid money to do it, and he has been successful at it at that level. So no, like, I don't think that matters to me. Like, I don't think he needs to have been a minor league manager. I don't think he needs to have been a manager at the major league level. Like, I just don't believe in that stuff. Do I believe that he should have played baseball extensively? And do I believe he should have been a coach for a long time? Yes. Like, I don't think people like me should be managers. That's just a joke we tell. But like other than that, no, I don't believe in this whole like you need to have done something in the minor leagues or you need to have been a manager somewhere before to be good at this job. I think that's just a very limiting and lazy barometer, quite frankly. Now,
Okay.
I do admit that you learn a lot the first time you become a manager. But a lot of first-time managers or early managers have won championships. Bob Brenly won a championship, Matthew.
Straight from the broadcast booth.
Yeah, and then they sent him back. I don't know that Bob Brenly's the best example. He had some pretty good pitchers on his team.
I mean, the interesting thing with Vitello is that he's never even played professional ball. He didn't play in the minors.
Wow.
He went straight from college into coaching in college and has never been a part of a professional baseball team. So that's a big jump. But the man knows baseball because he's won national titles at the University of Tennessee. He put up with Drew Gilbert for 3 seasons.
That is an interesting way to phrase it. Yeah.
maybe there could be a reunion, the Vitello and Drew Gilbert.
Yeah, they're like, maybe we need somebody to control this kid.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Could be that. Whatever. I mean, I just want somebody who's going to come in and do the job, Matthew. I just want somebody who's going to come in and do the job. And it's a pretty simple job, actually. This is the easiest job in sports, according to people on Reddit.
Really? The easiest job in sports is managing a baseball team?
I mean, it's better. It's way easier than being than having to be like. Okay, so I think in the order of importance, it goes like this. Basketball is the well, soccer is the next easiest, obviously. And then it's basketball. Then it's hockey, but nobody really cares because it's hockey. And then miles ahead of everybody else, like it's like the grand chest wizards, the smartest people in the world are NFL coaches, Matthew. Those people actually have an impact on the game. Baseball managers are basically babysitters, and they don't even babysit other human beings. They babysit a piece of paper.
Okay. Well, I think that's why it makes it so easy for people like us to have opinions on these things, because it does seem like we know what goes on.
I could fill out that piece of paper better than anybody.
So Tony Vitello, we haven't had a confirmed interview. In fact, he has said that he hasn't even been contacted. So it's pure speculation. Someone that is John Shea reported having an interview was Brandon Hyde, the former manager of the Baltimore Orioles. And Brandon Hyde has Bay Area ties. He's a Santa Rosa kid. Went to Montgomery High, played baseball at Santa Rosa Junior College. I think we should just hire him. Go Bay Area ties. No?
Folks, I'm blinking at Matthew. I just told you how I don't care about there being a major league manager or a professional player before. And now you're like, yes, but he has partaken of the air of the area of the bay.
I'm just saying that
he has smelled the rotting seaweed.
Listen, all I'm saying is that it would probably be more likely for me to get the manager of the Giants to a charity YMCA event, considering that he grew up in the area. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Moving on. Let's go back to talking about filling out the paper.
Okay. Because it's easy.
Yeah, that question that you asked earlier, Matthew.
Is it the most important job of the manager is just to fill out the lineup card?
Yeah. Is the lineup card, filling out the lineup card, the most important thing a manager does? And is that really all that he does? And I get it. He does 2 other things too. He sets the rotation, and then he decides when the relievers come in, right? Which I all know. Like, we all know that Ryan Walker was used too late and too often. Like, we all know that Bob Melvin screwed that up. Okay? So we you know, like, and if it hadn't been but for that, the Giants would be in the NLCS right now if Ryan Walker had just pitched in the 6th like he's supposed to.
I just feel like no, because I feel like today's game with so much information at your fingertips with analytics and how many balls the guy has hit against this guy and where and how hard, and just all the data that you have at your fingertips nowadays. It's more based on analytics than it is on good old gut feeling, right? And so I don't know if that's necessarily the most important thing. What I think the most important thing to do is to manage a clubhouse when things are going poorly or when things are going well, right? I think you need to be able to be communicative with your players, let them be a leader. Leadership is probably the most important part of being a manager these days, because you've got a coaching staff that you can lean on for pretty much any situation. You don't have to be the one that's making all the decisions. You can confide in people and get experienced people to give you their opinion and use that as your decision-making process. But you can't hide from leadership opportunities and times when your team looks to you for answers. And we've seen in very stark different ways over the last two managers of the Giants that those two men maybe weren't the best at that.
Yeah, it is interesting, right? Like, it feels like the reason that both of these guys failed as Giants managers was the same. Even though they were very, very different, and their approach was
they were
very,
both
very
sides
different.
of the same coin, for sure.
Yeah, which was like communication, right? And what you're communicating. Right, because it's very clear. Like, Kaplar lost the clubhouse. Right, people were speaking out against him. We heard a lot of things that went wrong. Right, like the key, like these damning sort of like anecdotes. Right, like I remember Tyro Estrada getting up and giving a big speech in front of the whole team, trying to rally the team up, from pulling themselves out another one of these like slides into mediocrity. And the report being that at the end of this speech, Kaplar, who was listening to it, just didn't say anything, just gave him a thumbs up and then walked into his office. And I think, we heard from Mike Yastrzemski, right? We heard people speaking out and speaking their mind, and that's what it means to lose the clubhouse. With Melvin, that wasn't the case, right? But in both cases, like, the players still loved him. They wanted him to be there. But what happened was that in both cases, the manager didn't do anything that changed the trajectory of the team. And it's not like, it sounds more like didn't even try. It's not, it doesn't mean they did it and they were effective. It was like they just didn't do anything. And I think that was sort of the damning thing against both of them, is they didn't do anything. Now, you mentioned how the modern game has analytics. Like, I would argue, and I think that was not your point. Your point was leadership matters.
Yes.
And to you, that's just sort of like this ability to talk and to communicate with people. Like, for me, like, I definitely, like, the lineup is extremely important, right? How you use your roster is extremely important. Like, it's really important. Like, I just saw this video the other day on YouTube talking about how the Marlins made this one simple change in the middle of the season, and it changed the trajectory of the team. And all they did was swap the second baseman and the shortstop. And that was because the second baseman was a better overall defender than the shortstop. But the shortstop is a more important position. And that made them a better team. To the tune of 2 games over 162 games played. Like, they would have won 2 more games had they had done that from the beginning of the season. And that's not nothing, right? That's a huge difference. That's the difference for some teams making the playoffs and some not.
Not the Giants. Yeah.
But yeah. So, but the point is that those changes matter. But what you need to be is the kind of person who is creating a culture where when you ask for change or need change to happen, all of the people who react to you and are who are responsible to you make those changes willingly, right? And so I think, like, part of the things that a manager does is they kind of dictate the philosophy of the team. Right? The strategy of the team. Because it's sort of like, it's easy for all of us as fans to say, like, what would you do differently? Well, I'd hit Chapman 5th and I would hit Jung-Hoo Lee 9th, right? It's easy to say that when you know what the names are on your roster. But what if you didn't know the names on your roster? And somebody came to you and says, what are you going to do? Well, what are you going to do? Well, the thing is that you're going to look at your roster and you're going to decide what is the best way for this roster to compete. You're going to come up with a philosophy and a strategy based on the roster that you have. And then you're also going to come up with a methodology by which you spread out information to your team. And you are going to, and this gets back to what you were talking about in terms of leadership, you are going to win buy-in from everybody who's in your organization. You're going to hire people in your coaching staff who will buy in, and if they don't, they shouldn't be there. And then you will use your leadership skills to win over the players who you don't get to choose, right? That's what Buster does. But you're going to win them over to that philosophy so that when you need to make a change, the players understand why you're making that change. And I think that's something that Kaplar wasn't good at, right? Like, Kaplar would do all of these crazy things with the lineup and all that sort of stuff. And some players were said, we get it. But there were a lot of, I think, especially on the veteran pitcher side, who were like, I don't get it and I don't like it. You know?
Yeah.
Mr. Ablasian, Alex Wood, for example. Right? And it was like he didn't have buy-in from him. And he didn't earn it. And he didn't earn it because he didn't get it. And I think that's the most important thing that a manager has to do, is get that buy-in from the rest of the organization. You have to win the hearts and minds of the players, and then you have to convince them that this is the way that we're going to do things.
Well, and I think that's, you go back to that time and there were stories of Kaplar just texting players, right? And not even going and speaking with them. So using that example, going and talking to Alex Wood about his role and why he believed he should be doing X, Y, and Z and why he felt it was his best for the team. That's what a leader does, right? They go and they explain, they go one-on-one. They don't send texts. You know, and so that was a good example of how leadership just was lacking with Gabe Kaplar. I think when we look at Bob Melvin, I think Bob Melvin had the advantage of being a 3-time manager of the year and just, this is the way we do things kind of thing, and didn't feel maybe that he had to communicate that. And for the most part, I think the players probably agreed, right? Like he got credibility because of his success in the past, but in the end, he wasn't really when I mentioned, when losing happened and bad streaks happened, Bob Melvin didn't have the ability to step in and right the ship and to lay down the law, so to speak, or whatever it needs to be done, right? To motivate and to change and to do different things, because he just did the same thing he'd always been doing. And that failed him as well. And I don't think that's leadership in my mind. So yeah, I think leadership is the biggest part, and it all depends on the situation. There's this, there's situational leadership is a thing, right? And what it means is that you can't always lead the same way. You need to lead by dictating. It dictates what the situation is. And so hopefully the next manager is a communicator and can build trust and still be able to make those changes when they need to, because they've built that trust. And so that'll be I think that's the key. And if you got a guy from college like Tony Vitello, who has a history of commanding respect from his players and wins and is a great communicator, then yeah, I don't care if he hasn't played a professional baseball or managed or coached in professional baseball. If he's a leader of men and can motivate and explain and communicate, he might be the right guy for the job. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, and I agree. I mean, one of the things that you just said was, like, a key part of leadership is making changes when you have to. And the first part of that is recognizing that you need to make a change, because, right, it's your philosophy. It's your philosophy that's not working when you start to lose and you think you should be winning. Like, and it is your responsibility as a leader to say the buck stops here. Like, it's my fault. The reason we're not winning is it's my fault. And I think what we heard from Bob Melvin was the reason we're not winning is I don't know. And he may not have known. But the key thing is it doesn't matter if you know or not. It's your fault. Or at the very least, another way to, maybe the different way to look at it is it's your responsibility to fix it.
Yes.
And he just didn't. He didn't. He didn't fix it. And it seems very, very clear now he didn't try. He didn't do anything different. He didn't try to fix it because he was so locked into his way of doing things. And it just didn't work. And I get it. Maybe, baseball is baseball. It's weird, right? Like, but when trends turn into like a week and a week turns into 2 weeks, I think that's the time when you start trying to change things up. Right? It can't get much longer than 2 weeks. And Bob let it go for 2 months. And twice he did that. I mean, he ran out of time before it got to 2 months the second time. But he just didn't accept the fact that something had to change. So that's the first thing you have to do. But then once you recognize that a change needs to be made, you need to have already earned the trust of the team to make that change.
Yeah.
And part of that is not just by you doing that, right? It's by building a whole team, a whole network of people around you who can all help affect that change, right? And help spread that message, that being your coaching staff. Like, they all have to be on the same page, and they all have to know that when it's time to make a change, this is what their responsibility is, right? And you're dealing with people and their personalities and their emotions, and that's all hard and squishy to do, but there are people out there that are very, very skilled at that. And we haven't seen somebody like that, I think, possibly since Bruce Bochy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, maybe it's Nick Hundley. Maybe it's Craig Albernaz. Maybe it's Tony Vitello. Maybe it's somebody we haven't even heard of yet.
But it's not Ben Henry. That's what we know.
That's what we know.
Isn't it time for the booze, boys?
I guess.
What are you drinking, Ben?
Well, Bob, I'm drinking something I called the Proto-Punch. Bob, I didn't taste it. I didn't taste it until I had it, and I don't want to call it the Proto-Punch. I just want to call it the Finito Punch.
Oh.
It was really good. It was really, really good.
No version 2.0 needed?
I think not. I mean, I think, it's a punch, so you can always be changing it. Always be changing the punch. But so what's in it? Well, it has 1.5 ounces of cognac or brandy, 1.5 ounces of bourbon, 1 ounce of lemon juice, 2 ounces of Oleo Saccharum syrup. Okay, so what is that? Well, so I made an Oleo Saccharum, which is where you take the peels with no pith of a citrus. I used lemon, and you put them with dry sugar. And what's going to happen is the dry sugar is going to pull the oils out of the peels. And it's going to create this kind of very, very thick, syrupy substance called Oleo Saccharum. And it's basically going to be sugar infused with the oils of the citrus. And it's going to taste just like whatever that citrus is. Well, I took that, and that is a very thick substance, sometimes very grainy, depending on the amount of sugar you use. Look it up on the internet if you want to figure out how to make it. Well, I turned that into a syrup by cutting it with water until it was the same consistency of simple syrup. I used 2 ounces of that. Then I added to that 4 ounces of club soda. Why? Well, because I wanted to taste what those other 3 ingredients tasted like so that I could use them in a future punch. It was really good, man. It was really good, just like that. So, sometimes maybe the Proto-Punch is just the Finito Punch. Anyway, that's what I was drinking, Bob. The Proto-Punch.
That's a tasty cocktail.
It was really good. It was really good. In fact, I would have held back a little bit on the Oleo Saccharum syrup. A little bit, because it didn't need to be that sweet. But so maybe an ounce of that.
What are you drinking, Matthew?
Bob, I'm drinking a Pink Flamingo. What's in the Pink Flamingo? It's got 1.5 ounces of white rum, a half ounce of dark rum, 1 ounce of grapefruit juice, a half ounce of lime juice, a half ounce of plum syrup, which I had made from our plum tree here. But if you don't have that, grenadine would be a sufficient substitute. Won't be quite the same, but go ahead and do grenadine instead of plum syrup if you don't have it or can't make it. And then if you're using the plum syrup, sometimes it could be a little tart because those plums can be a little tart. I added a 1/4 ounce of Demerara syrup, but that is optional. And you're going to take all the ingredients in a cocktail shaker with ice, double strain it into a chilled coupe glass, and you've got this lovely pink kind of daiquiri-ish drink called the Pink Flamingo. So that's what I'm drinking, Bob. Grapefruit juice and all.
That's a tasty cocktail.
Thanks, Bob. It was pretty tasty. It was. I'll have this one again and again. It was very good. And that's a wrap, folks. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week to talk about Lord knows what. Maybe the new manager of the San Francisco Giants.
Rocco Baldelli.
Exactly. If you can't wait that long, you could feel free to reach out to us on the social medias. We're in all the places under the username Giant Cocktails. Don't forget, you can also listen to us on YouTube, where you could subscribe and get notifications when we publish. And you can also comment. You can also comment on Spotify, where Ben checks it at least every other week.
There you go.
Don't forget, you can leave us a positive review, a 5-star positive review at your podcasting platform of choice, aka Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Ben, it was great talking Giants with you. Until next time, cheers, my friend.
Cheers, Matthew. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. I think it's going to be the Cutley.
Thank you for listening to the Giant Cocktails Podcast. Until next time, bottoms up.
You said that you didn't think that because he didn't have the momentum.
My point is I don't know who the hell it's going to be, and I'm just guessing.
Yeah, that's why I said Rocco Baldelli, because it's going to be somebody that we didn't expect.
Today I went antiquing, and I bought you your Christmas present. I'm looking at it right now. I don't know if it's technically an antique, but it is old. It is Giants related, I will tell you that.
Oh, okay. It's antique, so maybe it's from the 1990s.
Maybe. You'll never know.
Let's see. What's considered an antique? I don't know. How old does something have to be an antique?
I don't know, like 50 years?
I don't know. I know how old a classic car has to be, 20 years.
Okay.
So there's 21st century classic cars.
Okay.
5 years of them, in fact.
And then there's vintage, and then there's, I don't know.
All right. Well,
when I give you your Kirk Reader bobblehead doll, we can figure it out. I mean...
You bought that long ago. I already know there was a Kirk Reader. Like, dude, you're just regifting. If it's a Woody bobblehead. Don't get me wrong. I would gladly accept a Woody bobblehead and consider it a good Christmas gift. I can just see myself opening it and just be like, sweet. So that's not the worst thing. I'm just saying.
No. Shoot, it's one of my prized possessions. No. Who else says they have a Kirk Reader?
No, I mean, a lot of people, because they probably got them, but still, man.
Oh, they threw them away as soon as they got them. Come on.
Oh, don't. No. No, not Woody.
I mean, he wasn't Will
No.
Clark, you know?
No, he wasn't. But nobody was Woody either.
This is true.
Before or since, there's not been a pitcher like Woody.
Kirk Reeder had 130 and 92 record. He was 38 games over 500. He finished 7th in Rookie of the Year voting in 1993 when he went 8-0 for the Montreal Expos.
Like and subscribe, people.